Tuesday, September 24th. We are in week 2 of the Project Linus Mystery Quilt for this year, and now they have added to the bear paws trees. For the large size quilt, which is the one that I had thought I was doing, there are 17 of these. I have 2 finished. I have 15 more in progress because I tend to do these in an assembly line fashion. I pick out all the fabric first. I didn't mean to do any identical ones. That was sort of an accident. There are repeated fabrics, but I think that's probably the only identical block in there. And that's going to be really huge. So I may change my mind about that. I don't know. I'm going to go look it up and see how big it's going to be. And then we'll decide if we're doing the small or the large quilt. I already have these in progress, so I might as well just finish them. I can always, they're trees. I can always put them in something else. If I decide it's getting really insane, I could maybe do a second one. Or I could just put some trees and orphan blocks on the back. And trees and paws on the back of the quilt. Or I could just put them in another Linus quilt. It doesn't really matter. And that's what I've been working on. I also have, this is week 2 from last year. Because I thought, in between, if I finish them fairly quickly, then in between the patterns getting released, I could work on last year's quilt. This one, however, was already well underway. I already had done the pinwheels of the candies. So I just, and I had all of the fabrics cut out to their correct measurements and everything and ready to go. And then just never did it. So I stumbled across them this week and thought, after I finished the bear paws, I had run across them and thought, why not do week 2 from last year while I wait for week 2 of this year? So that's what I did. It's kind of fun. The candy wrappers are 3-dimensional. It's one of the things I like about doing this, is it sort of introduces some techniques that people might not have tried before, might not have come across in any of the patterns they've done. So it's kind of fun to try new things, and yeah, I just dove in and did them. A lot of people were doing, not doing the 3-dimensional, but I decided to go for it, and I really liked the way it came out. And again, this quilt was, the accent fabrics were all in Fairy Frost, because I was using up a Fairy Frost stash. So the candy is all Fairy Frost, and then that was my background fabric. And that's it for me. Probably will not have much to show you next week, except hopefully the remainder of the finished trees, because of not being home most of this weekend, this coming weekend. It is the ukulele festival, and I'll be hanging out with my brother and my sister and having fun with them. But I will not be being crafty, so I will try to get these done, so at least I have those to show you next week. I hope everybody gets at least a little crafty time for themselves this week. And I will see you next week in October. Bye!